Kane's mysterious game. It was another ordinary day in the digital circus, or as ordinary as days could be in a place where the laws of physics were more of a suggestion than a rule. Pomni was once again trying to make sense of her surroundings, forever seeking a way out. Kinger, as always, was lost in his paranoid mutterings, convinced the walls were watching him. And Jax, well, Jax was being his usual mischievous self, setting up traps for anyone unfortunate enough to cross his path. But today felt different. Kane, the ever-boisterous ringleader of this bizarre virtual reality, floated into the center of the circus grounds, grinning from ear to ear. His monocle gleamed as he looked over the group. Gather round, my digital darlings. I've got something extra special in store for you today." "Great!" Jax drawled sarcastically, leaning against one of the candy-striped poles. "Another one of your fun ideas, huh?" Kane chuckled, his grin never faltering. Oh, Jax, always the skeptic. But trust me, today's game is one for the ages. It's a scavenger hunt. Pomni perked up. "A scavenger hunt?" she asked, eyes wide with curiosity. "What are we supposed to find?" "Ah, well, that's the trick, isn't it?" Kane said, snapping his fingers. A flurry of brightly colored papers appeared in midair, each one covered in cryptic symbols. "You'll need to follow the clues. Find all the pieces of the key, and you'll unlock the grand prize." "What's the prize?" Ragatha asked, cautiously optimistic. Kane winked. "Why, freedom, of course." The entire group froze. Pomni's heart raced. Freedom? Could it really be that easy? But nothing was ever that straightforward in the digital circus. "Don't get your hopes up," Zubul muttered, rolling their eyes. It's probably just another one of his tricks. But for Pomni, this was a glimmer of hope. She had to try. The hunt begins. The group split up, each armed with one of Kane's cryptic clues. Pomni read hers aloud. "The thing you seek is light as air, yet deeper than the darkest despair." What's that supposed to mean? She mumbled to herself, wandering through the twisting paths of the circus. The colorful tents and stalls were as disorienting as ever, but she had to stay focused. Pomni found herself near the House of Mirrors. Its warped reflection stared back at her, mocking her with exaggerated versions of her face. She hesitated but stepped inside, the clue running through her mind. "Light as air, darker than despair," she whispered, looking at the distorted reflections. It was then that she noticed something odd, a mirror in the corner that wasn't reflecting her at all. Instead, it showed a deep void, swirling with shadow. Her heart skipped a beat. This had to be it. She reached out tentatively, her fingers brushing against the cold glass. To her surprise, her hand slid through. Before she could think twice, she stepped into the void. The other side. Pomni found herself in a dark, eerie landscape, a stark contrast to the circus's usual bright and chaotic atmosphere. The air was thick, and the only sound was the distant echo of wind. In the center of this strange place stood a pedestal with a glowing, ethereal fragment hovering above it. "The first piece of the key," she whispered. She reached out and grasped it. As soon as her fingers closed around the fragment, a cold voice echoed through the darkness. "Beware the shadows, for they hunger." Pomni turned around, but there was nothing there. She didn't wait to find out what the voice meant. Clutching the fragment tightly, she made her way back through the void and into the House of Mirrors. A race against time. As Pomni emerged back into the circus, she saw that the others had also returned, each holding their own piece of the key. Jax looked unusually serious. Ragatha seemed uneasy, and Kinger was muttering even more fervently than usual. "Something's not right about this," Ragatha said, glancing around nervously. "Kane's never offered us freedom before." Before anyone could respond, the ground beneath them began to shake. The circus warped, colors bleeding into one another, and a thick, inky darkness seeped up from the cracks in the ground. "The shadows!" Pomni gasped, remembering the voice. Cain appeared above them, his usual grin wider than ever. "Oh, I forgot to mention, the key must be assembled before the shadows catch you. Good luck!" Chaos erupted as the group scrambled to assemble the key. Pomni, heart pounding, connected her fragment with Regatha's. Jax tossed his into the mix, barely dodging a tendril of shadow that lashed out at him. The shadows were closing in, their cold presence sapping the warmth from the air. Kinger fumbled with his piece, hands shaking, but at the last second, Pomni grabbed it and slotted it into place. The flash evaporated. The prize. As the dust settled, the group found themselves back in the circus. The key floated before them, glowing softly. "So, do we get our prize now?" Jax asked, eyeing Cain suspiciously. Cain clapped his hands. Of course. Congratulations, my dear contestants. You've won." The key floated higher, and for a moment, it looked like something was about to happen. Something big. But then, with a soft pop, the key burst into a cloud of confetti. Jax groaned. "Are you kidding me?" Cain laughed, twirling in the air. "Oh, come now! You didn't think I'd let you leave that easily, did you?" Pomni felt her heart sink. She should have known better. Freedom was still out of reach. But at least for a brief moment, they'd all worked together. And perhaps, someday, they would find a real way out. Jax's impossible heist. Cain had cooked up another one of his ridiculous games, and this time it was all about thievery. "Welcome, one and all, to Cain's impossible heist," he announced grandly, floating above the circus. "Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to break into the vault and steal the gem at its center. But beware, there are traps everywhere." Jax grinned ear to ear. "A heist? Oh, I'm in. Nothing can stop me." Pomni, however, was wary. "There's always a catch, isn't there, Cain?" Cain gave a coy smile. "Perhaps, but where's your sense of adventure?" The vault sat in the middle of a towering funhouse, a maze of mirrors, traps, and tricks. The prize? A glowing gem said to be the source of unimaginable power. Jax was already planning his moves. As the group entered the funhouse, Jax took the lead, confident in his ability to outsmart whatever was thrown at him. The walls shifted around them, mirrors reflecting distorted versions of themselves, as if mocking their every move. "Watch and learn," Jax said with a wink, sprinting ahead. The first trap triggered instantly, a series of sliding doors that sealed off various parts of the funhouse. Jax leapt through the last one, narrowly escaping. He turned to see Pomni and Regatha stuck behind a wall. "Jax!" Pomni called out, banging on the barrier. "Don't leave us behind." Jax smirked. "Relax. I'll find a way to let you in." Meanwhile, Kinger, who had somehow gotten separated from the group, was wandering aimlessly through the mirrors. "Hello? Is anyone out there?" His voice echoed around him, but every reflection looked like someone else, warped versions of himself laughing in the distance. "I really don't like this," he muttered. Back in the vault room, Jax faced the final challenge, an elaborate laser grid protecting the gem. He cracked his knuckles. "This is too easy." With a dramatic leap, Jax somersaulted through the lasers, barely missing them. But when he grabbed the gem, the room exploded in lights and alarms. Cain appeared out of nowhere, laughing hysterically. "Gotcha!" Jax stood frozen as the walls began to close in on him. "Wait, what? This isn't supposed to happen!" Pomni and Regatha burst through just in time, having found a way around the barriers. "What did you do, Jax?" Pomni shouted, seeing the chaos unfolding. Maybe I underestimated the traps, Jax admitted, trying to back away from the collapsing walls. Regatha spotted a glowing switch on the wall and, without hesitation, flipped it. The lasers powered down, and the walls retreated. Jax gave a sheepish grin. See? All part of the plan. Pomni crossed her arms. Sure it was. The forgotten fantasia. During a routine cleanup of the digital circus's archives, Pomni discovered an old, dusty reel labeled The Forgotten Fantasia. Intrigued, she brought it to Zill, Kinger, and Jax. "What's this?" she asked. Zill's eyes sparkled with excitement. The Forgotten Fantasia was an old circus act we used to perform. It was a magical and fantastical show, but we lost it in a system update years ago. Eager to revive the old magic, the team decided to recreate the act. They set up the stage, dusted off old costumes, and rehearsed the routines. The Forgotten Fantasia was a show of illusions, enchantments, and whimsical characters, full of magical tricks and delightful surprises. As they rehearsed, strange things began to happen. Props started moving on their own, and illusions became unpredictable. It seemed that the Fantasia was resisting being brought back to life. The old code was unstable and interfering with their efforts. Jax took charge of troubleshooting the issues. He discovered that the reel contained corrupted data and outdated algorithms that were causing the glitches. With his technical expertise, he worked tirelessly to clean up and update the code. Meanwhile, Pomni and Kinger focused on the performance side. They adapted the old routines to fit the new system, ensuring that the magic of the Fantasia remained intact while avoiding the glitches. After several long days of hard work, the team was ready for the grand reopening of the Forgotten Fantasia. The audience was captivated by the enchanting display of illusions and whimsy, and the act was met with thunderous applause. Zill, with a contented smile, remarked, "It's amazing how something old can be revitalized with a bit of care and creativity." The Forgotten Fantasia became a cherished part of the digital circus once more, blending nostalgia with modern magic. The Cosmic Carousel. One clear night, the digital circus prepared for a special event, the unveiling of a new attraction, the Cosmic Carousel. Zill, always enthusiastic about new innovations, had designed this carousel to take performers and guests on a journey through a simulated galaxy. Pomni, Kinger, and Jax eagerly gathered around as Zill proudly presented the Cosmic Carousel. Its seats were shaped like celestial bodies, and the entire structure glowed with a mesmerizing starry light. It promised to be the most spectacular ride yet. The carousel's first spin was enchanting. As it began to rotate, it transported everyone through a dazzling display of nebulae, shooting stars and swirling galaxies. The performers were thrilled, laughing and enjoying the ride as they soared through the digital cosmos. However, halfway through the performance, the carousel began to malfunction. Instead of smoothly gliding through space, it started spinning erratically. The colors of the simulated galaxy began to flash and swirl chaotically. Pomni, quick on her feet, realized something was wrong with the carousel's control system. "The system's out of sync!" she shouted. Kinger, always ready for action, looked around trying to stabilize the ride. Meanwhile, Jax raced to the control panel to diagnose the issue. Jax discovered that the carousel's virtual navigation system had been corrupted by a glitch. He quickly reprogrammed it, but the glitch had caused a deeper issue. The carousel's code was tangled in a cosmic web of errors. With Pomni and Kinger's help, Jax untangled the code and restored the carousel's smooth operation. The ride gradually returned to its serene, starry display. The audience, though initially alarmed, cheered as the Cosmic Carousel completed its journey through the galaxy. Sil was relieved and proud. "Sometimes even the stars need a little adjustment," he said with a wink. The performers celebrated with a grand finale, their cosmic adventure becoming a memorable part of the digital circus's history.